Hello, and welcome back to Abroad with Susanna. So, today we are talking about one of the most important, kind of crucial aspects of moving abroad, which is the expenses, right? So, whether you are living abroad because of your work or to study somewhere else, even just to travel or experience this cultural exchange, there are many costs that are associated with the international living. So you really need to be aware of this. In this video, I will try to cover at least the key expenses that you should be aware of. The first one is the cost of living. So one of the biggest expenses you will face when living abroad is the expense of cost of living, right? These may include rent, food, utilities, transportation, and it is important to do your research even before you go and find out how much you will need to budget for these expenses in wherever you move, because it really may vary, depend on the country, the city, or even within the neighborhood. You can compare with tools in internet, or you can check out websites and see how much with update information, so how much it is in the different areas. Additionally, you were maybe not able to bring in your furniture due to the cost of transportation, maybe a lack of coverage from your employer, or sometimes in the change of lifestyle. Look, from Europe to Japan, I am telling you, the furniture sometimes doesn't fit. So you may buy some new furniture. So it's important to take these extra expenses into account when planning your move abroad. And this will help ensure that you have a smooth and stress-free transition to your new home. The second, travel costs. Whether you're traveling for work or for pleasure, the cost of transportation is important, really, really important. It is a factor to consider because airfare, visa fees, and travel insurance are just some of the expenses you will need to budget for. If you are moving abroad for a really long-term stay, you may also consider to buy a car or using the public transport, how much it will take out of your budget. So it's important as well to budget for trips back home to visit family and friends. Although sometimes some employers may cover those expenses, it is not always the case. Plus, well, there may be unexpected situations that arise back home, that require you to go back home. It requires a trip home. So this is why it's a good idea to set aside some funds, some specifically for travel back home. So you feel, everything is under control. By taking these expenses into account and budgeting accordingly, you can ensure, right, that you are covered. The third aspect, the healthcare, right? Healthcare is really another important expense that you need to consider. And I will cover this in other videos more in detail, but in general, it really depends on where you're going. So sometimes you may need to purchase a health insurance or enroll in the local insurance plan, right? It's also a good idea to budget for unexpected medical expenses that might not be covered, and maybe, as well as like hospitalizations or so on. The fourth is the cultural exchange. So while living abroad, you will have the greatest opportunity to experience new cultures, right? This is really an excellent opportunity. So participate in activities and events. So budgeting for those cultural exchanges experience is such like for instance, trying new foods, so visiting museums, participating in local festivals. All these, it's fantastic to feel included and get that experience, but it might be expensive. Global career. So when you're moving abroad for work, you'll need to consider your salary, right? And any other expenses related to your job, such as, for instance, professional development. Is it covered by your employer or not? Courses or certificates that you want to take in. And as well, if you're working as a freelancer for yourself or you want to start your own business, you also need to budget, what the business might take, like expenses that might take, for instance, marketing or advertising, and as well as personal development courses and trainings. So in my next video, I will be chatting with a friend of mine, Mary Kate Hammond, that, she works for a relocation and removal company, and she will provide us with tips and experience that she has, ideas that she has had over the few years living abroad and working with this kind of company. So in conclusion, moving abroad can be a wonderful experience, but it's really important to be prepared for the expenses that sometimes, that come along. Sometimes we don't think about that. By researching the cost of living, travel costs, healthcare, cultural exchange, and global career expenses, you can make informed decisions about your budget and ensure that you have a successful and enjoyable experience living abroad. Thanks so much for watching today. And remember to check out as well our website, Abroad with Susanna. So for more information about resources and information really about living abroad and working abroad. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Abroad with Susanna, for more videos about the expat life. Give us the time.